I've been making a point of seeing every new Steven Spielberg movie in theaters. He just had Bridge of Spies, which was one of the best movies of 2015, and one of the best movies he ever made, come out just last November or October, sometime in late 2015. And then, just this last night, actually, BFG comes out, and it's made by Disney. It's written by the writer of E.T., and that got me really hyped because, I mean, it's a kids movie done by Steven Spielberg. I mean, what could go wrong? He seems to do those great. So I actually was a little kind of hyped for this movie, but the marketing for it wasn't very good. It didn't make it look like it was gonna be anything interesting or special. So I figured I'll just give it the benefit of the doubt and just go see it. And honestly, the movie plays it way too safe. The movie is very quick, very. I could tell it's a short movie, but it also felt really, really slow, especially in the beginning of the movie. A lot of the. I don't even know how to talk about this movie because it is, I guess you would say, a good movie. It's definitely an okay movie, but it's just got. I don't know. I was just surprised that Steven Spielberg made this because of how safe it was, and just it didn't take any chances at all. And it wasn't. And besides the fact of that, because you can play it safe and still have fun, but it also just was not very fun or interesting. There wasn't anything about it that made me think, oh yeah, this had to be a movie. The BFG is not something I've read in many years. I remember seeing the animated movie, and I literally only remembered the ending of it, which I mean was in this movie. So that kind of brought me back. I was like, oh yeah, that's how it ended. Okay, I kind of remembered little bits and pieces, but for the most part, uh, I guess the BFG, was that ever one of Roald Dahl's more popular books? He had Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which has been made twice, and that always seems like the more popular one. And then he has, was it Matilda, which is, I mean, even that movie is still pretty popular. And I'm trying to even remember what other books he wrote. I don't know, they escaped me. But basically, the BFG is one that I think I don't know, if this movie is as close to the book as I'm pretty sure it was pretty close. I don't see the point in this being made into a big, huge, multi-million-dollar movie. I mean, and nothing about it seemed very special. It just was like, it was very to the point. Like, girl goes outside her window, gets kidnapped. That's how it starts. There's nothing about this main character girl that makes us relate to her because there's no character development. So we feel no attachments to the girl character. What was her name? Sophie, who, I mean, she was portrayed really well. This young actress who, I don't even know the name of, but young actress did really well as her, but there was nothing that was relatable about her. She just kind of was just there, got caught by the giant brought her to giant country, which was just not even a very interesting place. You meet the other giants, which all pretty much look the same. One of them's played by Bill Hader, which I didn't even notice, but apparently one of them is. I can't even tell you which one that is. And then eventually she comes up with this plan to trick the queen into, well, not even really tricking, but giving her a dream through the BFG, because the BFG gives out dreams, I guess, which is also something that isn't really detailed that well. And they give a dream to the queen, so then the queen will be all in support of the one friendly giant to go and take down the other giants, who are all eating children. And then, they end up catching them and throwing them far away from, I guess the movie takes place in London, so throw them far away from that, and then the movie ends, and the BFG continues to live in giant country and be a vegetarian. Point is, this is a very small story. It's not very grand like the other Spielberg movies. And he just did a movie where a story that was so small, a piece of history that was so small, and you turned it into something that was super grand. That was what Bridge of Spies was. It was a little tiny moment in history that he turned into this grand epic adventure, basically. That was a great movie. Then the BFG comes along, and you could have done many things to make it more interesting, but just this was, I honestly, kind of just sloppy. And I mean, I but I sloppy as in it was done really quick and there wasn't a lot of development. But yeah, there's nothing about this that really I'm gonna remember. This very forgettable movie that you're gonna probably not remember that you even saw within a month. So, which makes me feel bad, because I mean it is a Steven Spielberg movie. Most of his movies are really special. You know, they usually seem like they have a point. Even the lesser, you know, Spielberg movies, the ones that are less popular or the ones that are less remembered, they're at least special. They seem more grand. This one, just story-wise, was very small and very undeveloped and very just there. There was no point to it. It didn't seem like. The effects were really cool though. So I'll give it that. The effects were cool. And yeah, I don't really have much to say about this movie. Point is, I feel like Disney's gonna screw themselves anyway because Finding Dory's still out. I bet you it's still gonna be #1 at the box office, and this movie I feel like is gonna just tank, which is too bad. I mean, there's a lot of other Spielberg projects I'm looking forward to, like the what was the name of that movie? It was the video game one, Ready Player One, or is that the name? Is that? I don't know the name of the movie. It was like Ready Player One or something like that. Ready One Game. Some kind of name like that, but it was about video games or some. It was based on some book. But he's making that movie, and he's of course making Indiana Jones 5, and I know there was a couple other movies that are just escaping my mind right now. But point is, I'm excited for what else he's got left in him. He's probably gonna be making movies until he dies, but I think I'm excited for his next projects, but this is one that I was just like, that this one is just one I would say you could even skip. It's just, I feel bad, but it wasn't anything special. It just was kind of a movie that happened.